I think there's maybe a common chip on our shoulder, Deboer said. Our players here at Alabama fell in overtime short of playing for the national championship last year. We were one step away from winning the national championship at Washington. Let's take that step together. That was current Alabama coach Kalen Deboer talking to ESPN. We got chips on our shoulders now. You and everybody else. Listen, you better find a different motivating tactic. I mean, for everybody in sports has got a chip on their shoulder. The first round draft pick has got something. We got Dabo lecturing everybody when they were the number one team in the country about poor little Clemson. No, man, you're Alabama. You should be good. And that's just all there is to it. So this other stuff, they fell an overtime short for playing for the national championship. They also were a miracle play away from not getting in. So, it's everything. It's both. It's both of those things. In terms of UW and what Kalen DeBoer did there, man, the guy worked magic up there. He had a really good quarterback. And I think that will matter in the future at Alabama. But listen, I've talked about this for a long time. At particular schools, you can't do this kind of stuff. You can't be revenge tour. Like at Georgia in 24, it can't be, we're going on a revenge. Man, you lost to one team this last 3 years. That's it. I mean, like, if you beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, I mean, okay. If you lose, okay. I mean, it's not the whole season. You got to go through the whole season. You can't be like, oh, we're on a revenge tour, or, we got a chip on our, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, this is the part where if you're at Florida, ain't nobody feeling bad for you or sorry for you. If you're at Alabama, if you're at Texas, if you're at Georgia, if you're at, LSU, there are certain places where you can't play this game. If you're Georgia, you should be the best. If you're at Alabama, you should be the best. There should be no, all this other stuff. Yeah, I understand. Like, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work for him, but no, dude. I mean, like, I think this is the part that this is the 18 months of getting used to things in the SEC that Kalen DeBoer is about to go through. Because I do think you gotta see what the landscape is where you are, and I think that's the part that will take him a little bit of time. And it took Kirby a while. It took Nick a while. I mean, it takes a second or two to understand, okay, this is what this league is like. This is what it's like to be a head coach in this league. This is these are the expectations. They're ridiculous. Or, why is there a statue of the last guy every time we come into the stadium here? I mean, like, it's completely different in this league in every way. And, having been to Tuscaloosa for games, leave Tuscaloosa out. I mean, wherever you go in the SEC, the rabidness of the fans is a different level than anywhere else. And in terms of chip on a shoulder, that's I hate to put it this way, that's for losers, man. That's for a different bunch than what Bama is, and frankly, what DeBoer has been. That is for, like, South Carolina, or, that's for when Georgia's basketball team wins the SEC tournament in 2008, and, like, no one thought we could do this. No, we didn't. No one did. No one thought about that. But a chip on the shoulder, like, that's such an overused thing. People should stop using that phrase. They should stop using the word moxie and start, coming up with using different words, adjectives that describe people in different ways than that. But a chip on the shoulder, I mean, like, Kirk Herbstreit wouldn't stop talking about how he really liked Alabama's chances in 2023 because they didn't win it the year before. Well, they didn't win it in 23 either. I mean, like, no, dude, you're not going to get it done because you're mad. You're not going to get it done because you feel like someone slighted you. That can be motivation for, like, a practice or a week of practice, but it's got to be that you're developing, moving forward in the right way all the time. Because I can tell you right now, at Alabama, they only judge things on national championships. That's it. Are you hoisting the trophy at the end of the year? Did the Birmingham Touchdown Club award you a national championship that season or not? I mean, it's It's only those years. I mean, nobody remembers the 20 the 2003 Alabama team. Nobody remembers that team. They just don't. Nobody remembers. I mean, frankly, nobody. I don't think many people remember 1996 Alabama and the come from behind win over Michigan in the Outback Bowl. What was the Outback Bowl? Hall of Fame Bowl, whatever in the world. Gene Stallings' last game, I think it was. That might have been 97. Anyway, nobody remembers that. They only remember at this point national championships because that's what Nick really delivered, and that's what the Bear delivered before that. At Georgia, if Kirby starts talking, I mean, I lectured about this a lot. He was wrong with the way he said at the beginning. He said, "Why not us?" No, dude, it should be you. It should be Georgia. It should be Bama. It should be LSU. It should be the Gators. It should be, Texas. It should be Ohio State and Michigan and SC. That SC and the Gators and for a while Texas failed. That's on them. That's their fault. They are the ones who are screwing it up. That's an administrative failure, a vision failure, a lack of probably to some degree resources or getting the resources pointed all in the right direction. That's on those places. That's not, the world's fault. It's their fault. And when Georgia was sputtering around in the 90s, that was totally on Georgia, period. So certain places should win. Okay? South Carolina's not one of those places. All right? Kentucky's not one of those places. Mississippi State, a little bit. Ole Miss, they should not. Ole Miss shouldn't win a national championship. They shouldn't. They might, but they shouldn't. That would be like doing what Clemson did. Okay? The path is a lot more complicated for Ole Miss, but it's the same basic principle. These are teams that are, top 25-ish programs all time, something like that. And they go and win national championships because they got a really hot quarterback 2 out of 3 years. Alabama's not that. I mean, Alabama's always going to be good, or they should be. They're not always going to be good. The first part of this century was not so hot at Alabama. Now, I'm not going to revisit that constantly. I mean, you had Mike Deboer, Mike Price, Mike Shula. It was rough out there in those streets in Tuscaloosa. Thank God the internet didn't exist in Birmingham until 2007 because they'd have burned the damn thing down. But if we're, it very much exists in 2024, and if we can't have this mentality is the wrong mentality. I mean, for me, if I'm him, I'm saying we're at Alabama, we're expected to win national championships. That's all you got to say. I mean, I played at a school. I mean, this is going to make some of my friends mad and people we were losers. And people said, why not us? And that made sense to say about us because we never won anything. That's not the case at Georgia. That's not the case at Alabama. This is something that really aggravates me to death. Like, if you're at Kentucky and you're like, man, we got a chip on our shoulder. What are you talking about? You're Kentucky. If you have a chip on your shoulder, remove it and go win your national championship. Or get a coach in there who can. If you are, USC tennis or Stanford or Georgia tennis, man, there ain't nothing to talk about. You should just be winning national championships. That's it. If you're, if you're the Yankees, I mean, so you get my point here. I mean, no one feels bad for the Cowboys or Manchester United or the Yankees or, Barcelona or Real Madrid. You are peak of your sport. You are the name brands in your sport. So Alabama, no. And if you think I'm reading this wrong, no, I'm reading exactly what it is. I think there's maybe a common chip on our shoulder. Our players here at Alabama fell in overtime short of playing for the national championship last year. That is a fact. We were one step away from winning the national championship last year at Washington. Let's take that next step together. Well, those are not the same exact steps. And again, I'm giving Kalen Deboer a pass on this, but I am making it clear that it's because I don't know if you're the athlete, if you're Greg Byrne, and I'm sorry, I don't know the president at Bama, I don't know their name, but if you are Greg Byrne, how do you gently say, hey, listen, we brought you here to win it all? Do you have to say that? I wonder if Jerry Moorhead or Greg, I don't think, maybe Jerry did, but I don't know why you would have fired Mark Richt to get the next head coach in there, who was Kirby, without saying implicitly, hey, we're here to win a national championship, man. That's it. We're not here to, like, win the league. That's great. We want to win the league. That is really important to us. But the whole point of this is winning the national championship. I don't know if Kalen Deboer will continue to talk this. I don't know a lot about him. I think everybody's learning a lot about him. But I'm guaranteeing you this right now. That is the wrong way to put it.